The restaurant buzzed with the usual Friday night energy, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, the sizzle of steaks hitting hot plates. In the corner booth, 3 men hunched over their phones, snickering like teenagers planning a prank. What they were about to do would haunt them for the rest of their lives, but not in the way they expected. "Come on, it'll be hilarious," Derek said, his finger hovering over the send button. "Marcus with a deaf girl. He'll have no idea what to do. Mr. Perfect single dad, completely out of his element." Jake nodded, taking another swig of his beer. "He's always so put together, always has the right thing to say. This'll knock him down a peg." The third man, Ryan, hesitated for just a moment. "Isn't this kind of cruel?" To both of them, "It's just a joke, man. Lighten up," Derek replied, hitting send before his conscience could catch up with his cruelty. The message went to Marcus. "Hey buddy, we set you up on a blind date tomorrow night. Her name's Emma, 7 o'clock at Rossi's. Trust us, she's amazing. You need this." What they didn't tell Marcus was that Emma was deaf. What they didn't know was that this joke would teach them the most profound lesson of their lives. Marcus Chen stared at his phone, his 7-year-old daughter Lily coloring at the kitchen table beside him. A blind date. It had been 3 years since his wife died in a car accident, 3 years of building a life around his daughter, of learning to be both mother and father, of nights spent worried and alone. His friends had been pushing him to date again, but this felt sudden. "Daddy, who's texting you?" Lily asked, not looking up from her drawing of what appeared to be a purple dinosaur. "Uncle Derek, he wants me to meet someone." Lily's eyes lit up. "A lady, like a princess." Marcus laughed, the sound bittersweet. "I don't know about princess, sweetie. Just a person. Mommy would want you to be happy," Lily said with the devastating wisdom that children sometimes possess. "She told me before she went to heaven. She said to take care of you." Marcus felt his throat tighten. How did he get so lucky to have this little human? "How about we make a deal? I'll go on this date if you promise to be good for Grandma tomorrow night." "Deal." Lily jumped up and hugged him fiercely. "And Daddy, wear the blue shirt. You look handsome in blue." The next evening, Marcus arrived at Rossi's 15 minutes early, nervous in a way he hadn't been since high school. The blue shirt felt right. Lily's instincts were always good. He'd brought flowers, classic red roses, because his mother raised him properly. As he waited by the host stand, checking his watch for the 3rd time, he didn't notice the 3 men seated across the restaurant, phones out, ready to record the disaster they'd orchestrated. Emma arrived exactly at 7. Marcus saw her before she saw him, a woman with gentle brown eyes and an uncertain smile, wearing a simple green dress that somehow seemed both elegant and understated. She was scanning the restaurant, her movements careful and measured. As she approached the host stand, Marcus stepped forward. "Emma," he asked, holding out the flowers. She looked at him, and he noticed something different in the way her eyes focused, intent and thorough. Then she smiled, and it transformed her entire face. Her hands moved quickly, gracefully, in patterns he didn't understand. Sign language. She was signing to him. For a moment, Marcus froze. Not out of discomfort, but recognition. This was a test, wasn't it? His friend's idea of a joke. He saw Derek's face across the restaurant, phone raised, smirking. In that instant, Marcus had a choice. He could make excuses, leave, embarrass this woman who'd been set up just as cruelly as he had. Or, he could be the man his wife believed in, the man he wanted his daughter to see in the mirror every day. Marcus smiled back. He pointed to himself and mouthed his name slowly, "Marcus." Then he held up one finger, "Wait," and pulled out his phone. He typed quickly, "I'm sorry, I don't know sign language. But I'd really like to have dinner with you if you're willing to be patient with me. Also, I think my friends are terrible people." He showed her the screen. Emma read it, and her expression shifted from uncertainty to surprise, then to something like relief mixed with amusement. She took his phone and typed back, "I think my friend is terrible too." She said this was a setup, but I didn't realize it was supposed to be a joke. "Your honesty is refreshing, and the flowers are beautiful." They were led to their table, walking past Derek, Jake, and Ryan. Marcus stopped, turned to them, and said loud enough for nearby tables to hear, "Gentlemen, thank you for this. Truly, it might be the best thing you've ever done for me, even though you meant it as something else entirely." The confusion on their faces was palpable. At the table, Marcus and Emma developed a rhythm. She would type on her phone, or he would, and they'd slide it back and forth. Sometimes she would sign something and then write it out, teaching him a few basic signs. More often, they simply communicated the way humans have always done, through expressions, through laughter, through the universal language of genuine connection. "Tell me about your daughter," Emma typed. "You keep touching your pocket. I'm guessing there's a picture there." Marcus was stunned. "How did you know?" "I pay attention differently than most people," she wrote. "I have too. I notice hands, faces, body language. You've touched that pocket 6 times since we sat down." He pulled out his phone and showed her pictures of Lily. Emma's face softened as she scrolled through images of a gap-toothed girl with pigtails and a mischievous grin. "She's beautiful. She looks like she keeps you on your toes." "Every single day," Marcus typed. "She's my whole world. After my wife died, Lily became my reason for everything. For getting up, for trying, for believing tomorrow might be better than today." Emma reached across the table and placed her hand over his. The gesture was simple but profound. When he looked up, her eyes were glistening. "I understand loss," she typed with her free hand, slowly. "I wasn't born deaf. I lost my hearing in a car accident when I was 16. I also lost my parents that day. I had to relearn everything about how to exist in the world. People treat you differently when you're deaf. They either talk too loud and too slow, like you're intellectually disabled, or they avoid you altogether because disability makes them uncomfortable. It's lonely." Marcus's chest ached. He thought about his friends across the restaurant, about their casual cruelty, about how they'd reduced this remarkable woman to a punchline. He typed, "I'm so sorry. Not just about your parents and your hearing, but about tonight. About being set up as a joke. You deserve so much better." "So do you," she wrote back. "But maybe something good can come from something meant to be cruel. That happens sometimes, doesn't it?" Beauty from ashes. They talked for 3 hours. The restaurant staff began cleaning around them, and they barely noticed. Emma told him about her work as a graphic designer, about how she'd learned to thrive in silence, about the vibrant deaf community that had welcomed her. Marcus told her about the challenges of single fatherhood, about his work as a middle school teacher, about the way Lily said her mother's name in her prayers every night. "I think your wife would approve of you being here," Emma typed. "From everything you've told me, she sounds like someone who wanted you to keep living, keep loving." "My daughter said almost the same thing," Marcus replied, and suddenly he was crying, right there in the restaurant. Not from sadness, but from the release of something he'd been holding for 3 years, the permission to move forward. Emma handed him a napkin, and her smile was understanding, not pitying. Across the restaurant, Derek, Jake, and Ryan had long since stopped recording. They'd watched the entire evening unfold, had seen Marcus's kindness, had witnessed something profound happening at that table. The joke had backfired spectacularly. Instead of humiliating Marcus, they'd revealed their own cruelty and his extraordinary character. "We're horrible people," Ryan said quietly, and for once, Derek and Jake didn't argue. As Marcus and Emma finally stood to leave, Derek approached them. His face was red, his hands shaking slightly. "Marcus, we need to apologize. To both of you." He looked at Emma, then back at Marcus. "This was supposed to be a prank. We thought it would be funny to set you up with someone deaf because we're idiots who confused cruelty with humor. We're so sorry." Emma looked at Marcus, confused. He quickly typed out an explanation on his phone. Her expression darkened as she read, and when she looked at Derek, her eyes were fierce. She began signing rapidly, her hands sharp and emphatic. Then she typed and showed Derek the screen. "The only disability more limiting than deafness is the inability to see the humanity in others. You tried to mock both of us, but you only revealed your own inadequacy. I hope you learn from this, but honestly, I don't care if you do. Tonight wasn't about you at all." Jake and Ryan approached then, stumbling over their own apologies. Marcus held up his hand. "Here's what's going to happen," he said calmly. "You 3 are going to volunteer for the next 6 months at the Deaf Community Center downtown. Every Saturday, you're going to learn sign language. You're going to understand that different doesn't mean less. And you're going to become better men, because right now, you're not the kind of people I want influencing my daughter's understanding of friendship." "And if we don't?" Derek asked, though his voice had lost all its earlier bravado. "Then we're not friends anymore," Marcus said simply. "I don't need people in my life who think disability is a punchline." The 3 men agreed immediately, shame-faced and quiet. Outside the restaurant, Marcus walked Emma to her car. The night air was cool, and the street lamps cast golden pools of light on the sidewalk. I'd like to see you again, Marcus typed. If you're interested. Fair warning. It comes with a 7-year-old who will definitely interrogate you about your favorite dinosaur and whether you think cats are better than dogs. Emma laughed, and even though he couldn't hear it, he could see joy in every line of her face. She typed, I'm very interested. Fair warning. I'm terrible at small talk but excellent at making breakfast. Also, cats are obviously superior, though I'm willing to debate this point. You're going to fit right in, Marcus replied. They exchanged numbers, real ones this time, with no intermediaries or cruel jokes. As Emma drove away, Marcus felt something he hadn't experienced in 3 years, hope. Not just for romantic love, though there was that, but for the future itself. For the possibility that life could still surprise him, that connection could still find him, that his heart wasn't permanently closed. When he got home, his mother was asleep on the couch, and Lily was supposedly in bed. But as he checked on her, he found her wide awake, reading under her covers with a flashlight. Daddy, how was the princess? Marcus sat on the edge of her bed, brushing hair from her forehead. She's not a princess, she's something better, she's real, and kind, and strong, and Lily, she's deaf, which means she can't hear. She communicates with her hands, with sign language. Lily's eyes went wide, like a secret code, kind of like that, would you like to learn? So if you meet her, you can talk to her. Yes. Lily sat up excitedly. Can we start now? Marcus laughed. Tomorrow, sweetie. Right now, it's way past bedtime. As he tucked her in, Lily asked, Daddy, are you happy? Marcus thought about the question, about the evening, about Emma's smile and the way she'd held his hand. Yeah, baby, I think I am. Good, Lily said, closing her eyes. Mommy would be happy too. Over the next 6 months, Marcus and Emma's relationship grew steadily, carefully, like something precious that both understood could be damaged by rushing. They took Lily to deaf community events, where she became a sponge for sign language, picking it up faster than Marcus ever could. Emma taught them both, patient and encouraging, never making them feel inadequate for their learning curve. Derek, Jake, and Ryan kept their promise. They volunteered at the community center, and slowly, grudgingly at first, then genuinely, they began to change. They learned not just sign language, but empathy. They met people who navigated the world differently, who faced barriers and discrimination, who were complete and whole and human despite living in a world not designed for them. One Saturday, Derek approached Emma at the center. Through halting sign language, supplemented by a translator, he apologized again. Properly this time, from a place of understanding rather than obligation. I was ignorant, he signed. I thought different meant less. I was wrong. I'm grateful you and Marcus gave me the chance to become better. Emma accepted his apology with grace. Some wounds heal, even those inflicted by strangers who meant to mock. A year after that first date, Marcus took Emma and Lily to the place where his wife was buried. It was the first time he'd brought anyone there, the first time he'd felt ready to integrate his past with his future. Is this okay? He asked Emma. I need her to know about you. I need to tell her that I'm okay now. Emma squeezed his hand. Lily ran ahead to place flowers on her mother's grave, something she did every month without fail. At the headstone, Marcus spoke out loud while Emma read his lips and Lily held both their hands. Sarah, I want you to meet Emma. She's teaching me that my heart can expand rather than replace. That I can love again without loving you less. Thank you for Lily, for the years we had, for showing me what love looks like. I hope wherever you are, you're proud of the man I'm trying to be. Lily tugged on Emma's sleeve. Can you teach me how to sign something? Of course. What do you want to say? Thank you, Lily said, for making my daddy smile again. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She showed Lily the sign, fingertips touching the chin, then moving forward in a graceful arc. Lily practiced it carefully, then signed it to Emma with fierce concentration. That evening, back at Marcus's house, after Lily was asleep and they sat on the porch watching the stars, Emma typed something on her phone and showed Marcus, I love you. I don't need you to say it back yet. I just need you to know. Marcus took the phone and added, I love you too. You walked into that restaurant expecting humiliation and gave me grace instead. You took something meant to wound and transformed it into beauty. You're teaching my daughter, teaching me, that different isn't deficient, that silence can be full, that love doesn't always sound like words. They sat there in the quiet, and it wasn't empty silence but full silence, the kind that exists between people who truly understand each other. 2 years later, when Derek, Jake, and Ryan attended Marcus and Emma's wedding, they cried. Not polite, restrained tears but gut-wrenching sobs. Because they understood finally, completely, what they'd almost destroyed with their cruelty. They'd tried to create a joke and instead facilitated something sacred. The entire ceremony was conducted in both spoken English and sign language. Lily served as junior bridesmaid, signing along with Emma's vows, her small hands moving with careful precision. When Emma signed, "I do," the entire deaf community section of the venue erupted in applause, hands raised and shaking, the visual equivalent of thunderous celebration. In his vows, Marcus said, "You taught me that connection transcends the senses. That love doesn't need sound to resonate. That the most profound conversations happen not with words but with presence. Thank you for seeing me when I couldn't see myself." At the reception, Derek gave a speech that he'd practiced for weeks in sign language. His hands trembled as he signed, "I tried to make you a punchline, and you made me a better person instead. Thank you for that grace. Thank you for showing me that character isn't about what's easy, but what's right." The dance floor that night was a revelation. Music played for the hearing guests, but the deaf attendees felt the bass vibrations, moved to rhythms others couldn't see but they could feel in their bones. Emma and Marcus danced at the center of it all, surrounded by two communities that had become one. Lily danced with everyone, signing and spinning, translating between worlds with the easy fluidity of a child who'd never learned that different meant difficult. Years would pass. There would be challenges, miscommunications, frustrated moments when tiredness made signing harder, times when Marcus wished he could just call out to Emma from another room. But there would also be mornings when he'd wake to find her signing, "I love you," in her sleep, afternoons when Lily would come home from school and sign gossip with Emma faster than Marcus could follow, evenings when they'd sit in their quiet house and feel completely full. The three friends who'd meant to create a joke became uncles to Lily, advocates in their community, men who challenged discrimination when they saw it. They never forgot the lesson Emma and Marcus taught them, that cruelty reveals the perpetrator's weakness, never the victim's, and that grace can transform even the worst intentions into something approaching redemption. And in that corner booth at Rossi's, where it all began, a new generation of diners would occasionally laugh and plan and live their lives, never knowing that in that exact spot, cruelty met grace and lost decisively, that love proved itself louder than any words, and that sometimes the best things in life come from the worst intentions transformed by the best people. The message Marcus and Emma carried into the world was simple but revolutionary. Everyone deserves to be seen fully, loved completely, and valued precisely as they are. Disability doesn't diminish humanity, it's merely a different way of experiencing the same beautiful, complicated, heartbreaking, joyful existence we all share. And in the end, the only real disability is the inability to love beyond our own limited understanding of what normal should look like.